Our Cincinnati Reds have gotten to July here of 2026. It is the All-Star break. The first half of the season has come to an end, and that means it's time for us to have a All-Star break episode. This is a stats episode where we dive in and see how teams have been doing, how we have been doing, take a look at the All-Star teams, all that good stuff. So let's just hop straight into it. Starting things off with the standings in the National League East, you've got the Miami Marlins, who have a 1.5 game lead on the Mets, while the Mets, Braves, and Phillies are all still very much in the hunt for that division. Take a look at the Central. The Cubs are in first place, but our Reds are only 3.5 games back. The Cardinals are in third, all 13 games back. The National League West, the Dodgers and the Padres are at the top. That's a complete shocker. AL East, you get the Blue Jays in first place, as they have been for most of this series, and a tight race between the Yankees and the Red Sox. While in the AL Central, the Twins and the Tigers are tied atop that division, and in the West, it is the Astros back in first place, while the Angels are above 500 but 4.5 games back, and the Oakland A's, no longer a cellar dweller, now in third place. And I wouldn't say they're a good team, but they're much, much better than they have been in previous seasons. And now if we take a look at the stats here for our Cincinnati Reds, starting things off with the bat side of things, Johnny Fagan, most at-bats on the teams this season as the full-time DH. He has been solid, actually slugging a bit this season, a 7.7 OPS with 11 home runs and 17 doubles. No complaints there. J.P. Crawford hasn't been the total world beater that he was last season. Still very good though, a 7.75 OPS, 8 home runs, 22 doubles, not hitting as many home runs as it was last year, but still doing very well. Actually striking out more than he's walking this season, but still at a very high walk rate. Brian Anderson, another solid season for him, a 7.51 OPS, 11 home runs, and 15 doubles at the break. Elly De La Cruz has been fantastic. One of the best all-around players on our team this season, an 8.62 OPS, 12 home runs, and 15 doubles. Actually has some more pop in his bat this season. 12 home runs, I believe, is much more than he's had at the All-Star break in any other season. While Lamont Wade, best bat on the team right now, without a doubt. 9.78 OPS, 19 home runs, leads the team, 20 doubles. The guy just flat out rakes. Exactly what we expected him to be when we signed him in the offseason. Then there's Taylor Walls, who unfortunately is having a little bit of a down year with the bat this season. Currently on the IL, but he will be back very soon. Only a 7.07 OPS, but still a 3.43 OBP. Obviously still an elite defensive shortstop too, and he has the speed as well with 15 stolen bases. Tyler Stevenson back to his zero slugging ways, though. Not a great showing by him at the dish in a year where he's about to hit free agency. Adrian Merced has been awful this year as well, not even getting on base, just all around bad at the plate, which is not ideal. Yandy Diaz has been fine in his platoon this season against lefties, hitting 7.52 OPS, 9 home runs, 22 walks to only 25 strikeouts. Then we have Ahmed Rosario, also been good in his platoon, a 7.91 OPS, no complaints there. Joe Mack, he's been the backup catcher, hasn't played much, but he's basically just a singles hitter when he does play. To be fair, he does get on base a decent amount, just absolutely zero slugging from that man. And then Scott Kingery, also barely played, he's the last man on the bench. And then the rest of the guys, Kearns, Passan, and Sweeney, they're not even worth talking about because it's just such a small sample size for them. While on the pitching side of things, you have Stuart Bradshaw, who is having a very good old-school season, pitching deep into games, limiting walks, working soft contact. He's got a low 3 ERA and FIP and 13 wins on the season. Obviously, we know that I don't care about pitcher wins, neither should you, and just interesting to see, though. Lots of wins there at the All-Star break, 13 wins. Nick Lodolo, highest WAR among pitchers on the team, also has a low 3 ERA and FIP, and then, guess this, Hunter Green also has a low 3 ERA and FIP, highest K per 9 on the team for starters as well with a 10, and then also an even lower walk percentage or walk per 9 than Stuart Bradshaw, which is pretty insane for Hunter Green. Tony Gonsolin got off to a real slow start to the season. Fortunately, though, he has been much better as of late. ERA and FIP down into the mid-4 range, was much, much higher previously. Then there's Freddie Jones, who we recently called up from AAA Louisville, made his debut. He's actually been quite solid here in 42 1/3 innings pitched. 4.22 ERA, but a 3.87 FIP, comically low 1 walk per 9 as well. Then taking a look at the bullpen side of things, Liam Hendriks has been doing his thing as the closer. The Australian in 34 1/3 innings has a 1.05 ERA, doing his thing. Tyler Rogers, our other offseason bullpen acquisition, also been phenomenal. 27 2/3 innings and a sub-1 ERA. That is right, a 0.98 ERA. And then DeAndre Foster has also been very, very good, just like he was last year, a 31 2 innings pitched with a 1.14 ERA. All three of these guys also have absurdly low walk per 9s. Love to see the back end of our bullpen being extremely good. And then our long man in Chase Petty has also been quite good, much improved from last season, a 1.89 ERA in 62 innings, while Brandon Williamson is the lone lefty in the bullpen. Nothing too special, but he's been fine. Then there was Jarrett Ross, who has 33 innings since coming back from AAA Louisville. He has continued to be a solid relief option for us. And then Dylan Coleman has also been solid, striking at 11.7 K per 9, while throwing 100 miles an hour and throwing frisbee sliders. And then if we take a look at the league leaders around the National League, the batting average leader is Fernando Tatis Jr., hitting .342 at the break. Also has the most hits in the National League, as well as the most home runs with 33 long shots. OPS also, Fernando Tatis, one of 4 players in the National League with a 4-digit OPS. He is a 1.119, while Lamont Wade just outside that top, as he is currently in 5th place. While Fernando Tatis also leads the National League in WAR with a 6.5. Basically, the only major stat he doesn't lead in is stolen bases, where it's Trey Turner with the lead, and Fernando Tatis is directly behind him in 2nd place. While on the pitching side of things, the wins leader is actually a tie between our very own Stuart Bradshaw and Jack Flaherty, who is now on the Padres. The saves leader is David Merced of the Colorado Rockies with 29. The ERA leader is Aaron Savali, who is now on the New York Mets with a 1.85 ERA, also leads with 146 innings pitched. The strikeout leader is Shohei Ohtani with 169, while you can see the Nationals actually have Josiah Gray and Jack Leiter striking at a ton of guys, and then we also have Green and Lodolo among the league leaders there, while the top WAR for pitchers in the National League is Roki Sasaki of the St. Louis Cardinals, while you can see Tyler Mahle and Jack Leiter have actually been quite good this season as well. While on the American League side of things, you've got the average leader is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with a .323 batting average. The hits leader is Oswald Peraza of the New York Yankees. The home run leader is a tie between Jose Ramirez, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and Alex Bregman, who all have 28 here at the break. And then the OPS leader is Vladimir Guerrero Jr., the only 4-digit OPS in the American League. And then he also has the highest WAR. Well, also notable, Willie Castro is actually in the top 3 for WAR, having a very, very good season for the Detroit Tigers. And then on the pitching side of things, the saves leader is Jose Suarez of the Los Angeles Angels. The ERA leader is Shane McClanahan of the Rays with a 2.44. The innings pitch leader is Brandon Woodruff with 139 1/3 innings. The strikeout leader is Zach Gallen, one of the newest Yankees, with 138. And then the WAR leader is Brandon Woodruff of the Cleveland Guardians. And then just a quick little update on some former Reds players. We saw Tyler Mahle in the National League leaders. Been fantastic for the Cubs this season. A sub-3 ERA and FIP for them, helping them be a couple games in front of us in the standings right now, while Nolan Jones has actually been above league average, believe it or not, playing for the Oakland Athletics, a .755 OPS with 19 home runs at the break, but a hilarious only 4 doubles compared to those 19 home runs, while Joe Adell has actually been pretty meh for the Guardians, a .731 OPS with 14 home runs, and then Lucas Sims is just pretty much being Lucas Sims. He's striking at a ton of guys, but really nothing too special aside from that, just typical Lucas Sims season. And now we will take a look at the all-star teams in both leagues, starting things off with the National League. Jack Flaherty is the starting pitcher for this game. Nick Lodolo does not make it, nor does any of the other starters for the Reds. Liam Hendriks was the top vote getter for the closers, though. Lots of usual names on the National League side of things, and not any other Reds besides Liam Hendriks. So he is actually the lone Red who made the all-star team, not even Lamont Wade. He gets snubbed. And if we take a look at the American League side of things, things. Brandon Woodruff is starting the game for them. You can see the Tigers duo of Tariq Skubal and Casey Mize made the All-Star team as well. Jordan Walker made it for the Oakland Athletics. Lots of White Sox players as well. Ketel Marte, Yordan Alvarez, Brian Reynolds, and Luis Robert all made it for the White Sox. Well, Aaron Judge is basically the only member of the outfield who didn't make it for them, and then Joey Gallo is the right fielder for the American League. And now, since we are here in the month of June, that does mean we are fastly approaching the trade deadline here, and our Reds are in a very fun spot this season. This is the first deadline in this series where we are actually in a spot to make some serious moves here at the deadline. As you can see these players listed on the screen right now, these are just some ideas of guys we could use to acquire some upgrades at the deadline by trading some away these guys. This does not mean that every single player on this list is going to be traded away. This also does not mean that somebody not on this list is not going to be traded away. This is just an idea of the type of players that I would be looking to trade away. The point is that, there's probably going to be a couple prospects that you are quite familiar with who are no longer in the Reds organization here post-trade deadline. And as far as what we are looking to upgrade here at the deadline, upcoming a little later on this month, there's really three main spots. The first one is acquiring a starting pitcher. Freddie Jones has been very solid as the fifth guy, but I would want to get a solid rental starter, and, Jones can move to the bullpen, and obviously the playoff rotation, if we do make it, is going to be cut down to like 4 guys, so one of the guys will have to move to the bullpen anyways, but I'm very much wanting to pick up a really solid rental starter. Well, the other spot is center field, because unfortunately, Adrian Merced's been bad, Jay Allen's been bad, and then Robert Passan and Scott Kingery, probably not the long-term option to play center field for us, and probably not the best option for us to be continuing with them in center field right now either. So if we can find a legit center fielder available at the deadline, we will absolutely be looking to pull the trigger on a deal for him. And then the other move is a big bopper bat to have in the middle of the order, maybe a corner outfielder, maybe a first baseman, and Lamont Wade continues to play left field, and we send Lewis Kearns down for a more proven first baseman we pick up at the deadline. One of those sort of things, one of those really big middle-of-the-order bats that can really help solidify our order here and just continue helping our team as we push for the playoffs here in 2026. But that will wrap things up here for this edition of the Cincinnati Reds franchise here on MLB The Show 22. Next episode will actually be a prospect profile, and then after that it will be the trade deadline episode, 1 game before the trade deadline, and then 2 games after the trade deadline will be shown in the episode. So I've been your host, Jerseyborn, and I am saying, I'm thinking I need a new Tyler Childers album.